Okay, so this is a quick tutorial on how to start your travel brochure research. The first thing you're going to do is you should have already identified 3 cities, and you're going to need to fill out a grid, something similar to this, for all 3 cities. You'll notice here I have a table made that has the city, which has been merged and centered. I've got the top 3 things to do that I would do in that city, and then I went ahead and inserted some pictures about these 3 things. I'm going to walk you through how to create one of these. For your assignment, you will need to do 3 of them. And it's actually really easy. I could very easily just copy all this and paste it underneath once I have it set up. But that wouldn't teach you anything. So here's how we're going to do it. I'm going to actually start with a brand new sheet of paper. You'll see it's just normal cells. And I'm going to make my table a couple cells down. That's just a personal preference. I could even move it over if I want. So if we remember, the 3 columns being A, B, and C need to be the city itself, the top 3 things I want to do. And you'll notice when I do that, it blends into the other columns. So I want to come up here and I can move this over if I want, or if you want, just go ahead and click and drag and get all 3 of these columns. Once I have all 3 of them, I can actually right click up here, go to column width, and I'm just going to set this for 50 pixels, so they're all the exact same width. And so you see now I've got 3 large columns. So I've got my city, top 3 things I want to do, and then I need pictures of my things to do. So I've got titles, headers for all of them. And what I'm going to do is, this kind of helps keep things organized. Just for my sanity, I'm going to go ahead and go 1, 2, and 3 here. And then I'm going to highlight those and move those to the left. I'm going to go to the Align Left tab and move them over there. And then what I'm going to do is I've got 3 blank cells here. Well, I don't need all 3 of them because I'm only going to be in one city. So what I can actually do is come up here to where it says Merge and Center. If I do that, it makes them all one big cell. It kind of merges them all together. So I could come in here and type in my city once again. And you'll notice this automatically puts it down in the bottom. If you want to make it look nicer, you can come up here and always center it right in the middle of the cell. Now, one of the biggest problems you're going to have is when I get to my pictures, that is a very small cell to put a picture in. So what I want to do is I'm going to come over here and look at my rows. I'm going to select, I could manually move all of them, or I can do exactly what I did with the columns and just get 5, 6, and 7 here. Right click on it, go to row height, and maybe I'll make it really big and just put it at like 75. So now I've got a much bigger space to type in and to put my pictures. And actually, you know what, just to be crazy, let's make it 100. So I've got really big spaces. Now my top 3 things that I want to do in Atlanta is, I'm a big Braves fan. So what I'm going to do is just select this big box here, come up and type in Atlanta Braves game. And again, you'll notice this is currently aligned to the left and in the bottom of the box. I could easily come here, center it this way, and then I want to center it vertically too. So that puts it right in the middle. If you want to get really fancy, you could even add a hyperlink in here. So maybe if I go, actually I'll show you a different way. I'm going to come here and come up to Insert, hyperlink right there. And I can actually just type in www.atlantabraves.com. I know this by heart because I'm that big of a fan. You might need to copy and paste the URL. If I hit OK, now that makes it a hyperlink and I can go back to it whenever I want. Now, to find a picture of my things, again, I can come right up here into the Insert tab, go to online pictures. This is way easier than going to Google or Bing and finding images and copy and pasting. This will do all the work for me. So I'm just going to go to online pictures. Well, first insert online pictures. I'm just going to throw in Atlanta Braves. And initially it's only going to give me like the basic cartoony type things, but if I come up here to all images, I'm going to see a little bit more. And these are more their formal logos. But if I'm going to a game, I probably want to do where they play their games. So Turner Stadium. So I can come here. And this, what you'll notice, these numbers are how many pixels it are. Obviously, the bigger the number, the larger the pixels. That is a very, very big picture. If I try to put that in there, I'm going to have serious problems. So here, I've got one that's 300 by 225. That one's actually going to be really good. So I'm just going to check the box, click Insert. And it's still really big for my cell. So I can just resize it here. Come down here, grab the corner, resize it a little bit. And you'll notice it's still not in my cell. Well, that's okay. I'll just come over here, you'll notice my cursor becomes that little two-sided arrow. Come down, and I'll just make my cell bigger. And then I can center it right in the middle. So then the other two things I said was I want to visit Underground Atlanta, which is a really cool spot. It's actually more of a mall now. But I need to insert a picture of that. So inserts, online pictures. And I'm just going to type in Underground Atlanta. And again, it gives me kind of just cartoony pictures, but if I come to all images, I can find an image of what it looks like. Basically, they built the new Atlanta on top of the underground one, and now the underground's all like shopping center and mall. Ooh, and you'll notice this picture is really big. So one of the first things I've got to do again, I'm going to resize it, shrink it down, and then adjust my row height again, center it. And again, if you want to, you can take and center this particular thing by going to the center line and then aligning it vertically as well. And the last thing on my list was visit the Coca-Cola factory. Coke is actually made in Atlanta, so I'm just going to put visit Coca-Cola factory here. And again, I want to align this in the center and align it vertically. And inserts, online pictures. We'll go Coca-Cola factory. Let's see what comes up. All images. And this is actually the front of the factory. I could also go to any one of these. So we'll insert that in. And again, that one's a little big. It's not too big here. So let's resize it just a hair. And then adjust my row height to make sure everything fits. So now I've got all of my three things I want to do. I've got pictures in there. One thing that'll help make things look nice is just by selecting and grabbing everything, including the title of your chart. Coming to this little box right here, this will help me put the lines in. So right now these light gray lines really wouldn't show up if I tried to print it. If I come here, click this little arrow, go to all borders, you'll see that I now have like solid borders. Just kind of looks nicer. Now for your project, you can either do this 3 times. You could come down here and just add a new sheet and like right click, and I could just rename this one Atlanta. Maybe my next one I could rename it and call it Seattle, because I want to go to Seattle someday. And I'd have to do the whole thing over again. Or I could just come here, select everything, right click, copy, go to my Seattle tab, right click, paste. Now you'll notice it's all sorts of messed up. So I would have to go back through, resize everything, and resize everything here. Whoa, way too big. Sorry, wrong one. But you get the basic gist of it. But you'll need to make 3 of these and save and put that into your OneNote.